The page is connecting to it.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Really good. Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to us.
Of course, my pleasure.
I'm excited.
Oh, did it work?
Yeah, are you there?
Yes. There we go.
Right.
Wonderful.
So,
yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh no, it's amazing. Thank you. So, firstly, lockdown. How are you guys dealing with lockdown at the moment?
You know, we've kind of gotten into our groove. I think it's just super important right now to have a routine,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like, and kind of stick to your daily habits so that there's some bit of normalcy.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've also been taking advantage of the flexibility in time. So my fiance and I have never really had this quality together before. So we're really grateful for it.
Yeah, that's been quite amazing. We've got into a little bit of a routine, which it's good. You find a fun kind of normal, don't you?
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
Well, we've been completely obsessed with your TikToks with Conrad. They are so amazing.
Oh, thank you. I know that it's been such a fun little moment to have a playful, you know,
How have you guys been? How have you guys been coming up with those?
You know, a lot of them we just get inspiration from TikTok, other couples doing it. I think Winnie sees you.
He's so
but yeah, it's been really fun. It's a new creative outlet for sure, but it's kind of a lot of work.
Yeah, I can imagine. I bet it takes a while to sit there and plan them and think about what you're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But fun. It's a fun project.
What kind of challenges have you been feeling professionally and personally during lockdown at the moment?
You know, I think it's just the uncertainty and the unknown of when we're going to be back in business.
Yeah.
And we've just been trying to minimize the concern to our brides and our stores, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, we are beholden to all the regulations and everything that's going on in New York City. And we're grateful that a lot of our gowns are made in the heart of the garment district of New York. But we also feel that it's most important to be safe right now and fulfill, you know, emergency orders and things that are coming up. But a lot of brides have had to postpone their dates too. So you know, things are being delayed at the same time.
I mean, as a bride to be yourself, has that affected your wedding plans at all?
Yeah, you know, I think what's great for Conrad and I is I feel like we're both very flexible and adaptable. And those are two things you really need right now. And we didn't have a date locked in stone yet. And we didn't have deposits down. So we're looking at all these other couples that are having to either forgo their deposits or change their dates or replan their weddings. And we just, you know, we can't even compare to that emotional state. So we're definitely kicking our date down the road though.
Yeah, I bet.
So, it'll be a while.
Well, the proposal from Conrad looked absolutely amazing. You must have been so made up with that.
Thank you. It was the best weekend of my life, for sure.
I bet. Where was it?
So it was a place called St. John, and it's near St. Martin, St. Thomas, like the British Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
And it's just a special place for him because one of his dear friends, who's kind of a father figure to him, has a house down there, and he's this incredible architect, and he let us stay at their house for the weekend to make it super special. So it's so dreamy and aesthetically inviting. So it was a wonderful weekend, and he also invited my parents out and his family. So it was just so wonderful and full of heart.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's so gorgeous. And how did Conrad pick the ring himself? That must have been a lot of pressure.
Yeah, he did. I was really impressed, actually. I think that's a really big deal for, you know, when somebody has to make that decision, and it's not like a dress. The ring you wear every single day. And so I think there's such a difference in the shopping experience of it. But he kind of had an idea of which was my favorite style from the Hayley Paige for Hearts on Fire collection. And then he kind of worked his magic in making it a bit more meaningful. We're both very much into stargazing and celestial vibes. And so part of the ring setting, he created this like asymmetric kind of like a comet's tail.
That's good.
And incorporated that into it. So he really made it his own and our own ring. It's
Yeah.
his ring too.
That's it. Well, how gorgeous is that? It's right from the heart. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
So Hayley Paige Empire, oh my God, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, you have achieved already so much at such a young age. Where do you see it going?
Oh my gosh. You know, it's so crazy how fast time has gone. And I've just been so grateful every step of the way, because I feel like the people that I interact with, whether it's the store base or the brides themselves, there really is such a camaraderie, and it's a supportive environment. And I feel like not a lot of people always have access to that kind of support system.
Right.
And so it's been encouraging every step of the way. And this is such an unprecedented time that we're in right now.
Yeah.
But it does have me thinking about philanthropy and derivatives of the brand that go beyond bridal, and how you can be accessible to people without a product.
Right.
And so that's kind of things that I've been toying with, and my fiance and I have been looking to do some projects together that aren't in bridal and aren't in fitness, because he's in fitness. So
Yeah.
we've been playing with some ideas while we've been in quarantine.
Well, that's a really good time to get some new inspiration, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a perfect time. And, you know, it's one of those things where anything is an opportunity if you choose to see it as such.
Yeah.
And I think just maintaining a positive mindset is it's really imperative right now. It's not even an option. It's like your only option.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what drives Hayley Paige? What drives you forward?
Oh gosh, that's such a good question. I think for me, making meaning is something that's always driven me. And part of the reason I love bridal as opposed to high fashion or ready to wear is that there's such a significance behind the dress, and that there's this emotional value and a connection that makes people feel super special and like they belong, and that somebody understands them. So I think throughout all of my work and just in any creative endeavors, I want to feel that connection and that meaning behind it. So I think that's something that's continually driven me in my creative process, as well as just in life, because you know, if you can have all the success and money in the world, but if you don't have the people to share it with, and you don't feel the joy of just sisterhood and brotherhood and all those things, I feel like you lack the fiber or the density of it all.
To move forward. Yeah, definitely. So what about your inspiration at the moment? Where are you finding your creativity from?
So working a lot of my inspiration is music. So I've been exploring different genres at the moment, and we kind of keep music going on at all times in the apartment, and it just helps set a soundtrack to life. And I've been really curious about DJing.
Oh, really?
And so I've just been exploring with some online classes, because I love mixing old school with the new school, and ways to just understand musical patterns. So that's been something that's been really fun and unique for me.
That's amazing. Hayley Paige, the DJ. We could definitely see that.
I think that's a really good DJ name.
We're going to have to get our heads together at Cheshire Bridal Boutique and get some for you, I think.
I would love that.
So as a designer, what would you, obviously you were so young when you started, what inspiration did you actually gather as you were growing up to try and sort of be that inspiration yourself to other young designers out there?
I think that one of the most important things is to make people feel secure and seen and acknowledged. And throughout my career, those are things that have been really important to me in my creative process, is knowing that there is a reciprocation, and without somebody appreciating the work you're doing, you miss the connection point. So I've really tried to be encouraging of younger designers and anyone, any female, male, whoever pursuing their passion, is to let the passion always outweigh any doubts, and to be open to the positive reinforcement that you do get in life, to hold on to those as opposed to letting the negative, or toxic ideas
Yeah.
deter you.
Yeah. And how did you feel when you launched your own collection? I think it was at 25 that you got the opportunity to launch that.
Yeah, I actually, it was something that I never anticipated. And I do credit a lot of it to trying to start a business myself.
Yeah.
And throughout, I guess, throughout just my academics and also my athletic career,
Yeah.
I've always subscribed to the idea that practice makes you better at things. And so even if you don't have a certain skill set, or you're not starting at Michael Jordan status with anything, you know, you can always learn and improve.
Yeah.
And I also love the idea of always being a work in progress. So in design, there's always something new to learn. And I feel like that's something I try to pass on to people, is that, like, I don't have all the answers, and I'm still a work in progress, even
Yeah.
as there are moments to be excited about. There's still so much more to do.
That's such good advice for young designers out there to hear that from you. That's really great.
Thank you.
No, you're so welcome. So the blush range, we stock the blush range and we are literally obsessed with it on a daily basis. We're walking around the shop in the dresses. They're just gorgeous.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for all the love and support in stocking those dresses for
Yeah.
us.
Oh, definitely. It was one of the main designs that I actually wanted when I opened the store. It really just spoke to me when we went to see it. So I think it was the Harrogate show, and we just walked past and it caught my eye, and I was like, we need to go and see that. That is just amazing.
Yay! Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
It's really good. So obviously what it says to us is we kind of think of sugar and spice and romance and elegance. And it kind of says to me, every single young girl's sort of wedding vision that they had for their wedding dress, it feels to me like you've just made that come alive with this collection. That's what it speaks to me when I see it.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel the Hayley Paige aesthetic and the charm is something that I wanted to continue and infuse into the Blush by Hayley Paige collection.
Yeah.
I, of course, wanted a different identity and an expression that really felt like she is her own division. And so it's kind of always been a focal point to take unusual inspiration points and put them together. So it's like a playful game of opposites, usually,
Right.
like sugar and spice,
Yeah.
or something that feels really soft and feminine, but putting it with something a bit more geometric and unexpected. So I
Yeah.
love the hybridization through design, and even taking like a really steadfast, sellable silhouette, but throwing a novelty fabrication in just to
Right.
punch up the unexpected nature of it all.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds amazing. We can see that's the kind of thing that you're looking at when we look at this collection. It's just got all of that together. So what can we expect from the new line? Because we obviously couldn't see it at London Bridal Fashion Week because of the virus. So we've yet to see the new collection. We're so excited.
Thank you. I know this is the first collection or season we've ever missed, for a good reason, of course, but we were pretty far along in presenting a new collection. So right now that is on hold, and we're going to likely pick up right where we left off with it, and try to make it even better, and hope that this could be an opportunity to nab a little bit of a silver lining and get ahead of production so that we can offer the gowns at a faster delivery, or kind of make up for lost time.
Right.
So we're a little bit beholden to what's going to happen when we reopen, but we're doing our best to strategize. This past collection had some really, really gorgeous pieces that were more textural, and I would say botanical meets boho. So there was a lot more panache and embellishment
Right.
for blush, which was exciting. So we hope to pick up where we left off and maybe release early or late summer, early fall, if we can sneak in like a little capsule presentation before October market.
Oh, that would be amazing. Well, we're currently obsessed with, I think Pepper is just one of our ultimate, it's just gorgeous. And Fleur de Is as well. Oh my God, like we just look at it all day.
I'm so glad. I love that dress too. She's kind of one of our staple iconic pieces from the
Yeah.
collection. Pepper and West, the sister dresses.
Yes.
And, you know, that fabrication took us over 2 years to perfect. And
Really?
I just love that there's so much to work with within the fabric itself, because typically when you create a fabric, it can be used, you know, a few different ways, but with the West fabric, it's almost endless. So it's been fun to have it on the collection for multiple seasons.
Yeah. No, it's been absolutely gorgeous. The detail on the ivory Marrakesh beading is just stunning. It just shimmers and shines. As soon as a bride looks in the mirror, it's just gorgeous.
Like, yes.
Tick.
As you should feel.
So one of the things that we tend to say quite a lot to our brides that we've been sort of, when they're trying on your dresses, the colours, the cashmere and the nude, every single time a bride, regardless of their skin tone or colour, tries it on, it just compliments them. How do you achieve that in the colours? How did you pick them?
That's one of my favorite things right now, is to not let any composition be compromised because of lack of color. And of course, when everyone thinks of a wedding dress, they tend to go ivory or white. But what's really unique about playing with color and the underlays is that you can really create this dimension and almost give the appearance or illusion of skin tone. And that just makes it feel so much more organic and harmonizing with humans. And so there's a lot of little tricks you can do. And I think what's just important is to be always open-minded throughout the design process. So every style goes through a different evolution from sketch to completion.
Yeah.
And just being open to changing the color throughout her evolution is important. And I like to always play with layers at the beginning stages, because the earlier you get that combination right, the better. It's always tough when you have to change the color in like one of the final stages.
Yeah.
But I'm particular to the cashmere because not everyone feels the best in all white, and there are so many shades of white. So it really is a celebration of skin tone and having versatility and having options when it comes to your dress.
Yeah, it's definitely been one thing that's really struck us. Most brides who try it on are amazed. They kind of come in not sure about trying that sort of colour on, and when they put it on, it's so warm into the skin, and it transforms the whole look. And I do think that's been really, really positive, particularly from what we've seen up in the Northwest in any event.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear, and that's so much part of the reason why I champion our brides to always go into your store or into a beautiful store to try it on, because there's nothing like the experience of dress up. And sometimes you see a dress on Instagram or online, and you know it's put a different spin on how it looks, and until you're that girl trying it on yourself and seeing the color and seeing it come to life, you're not going to know what you want.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you see for bridal fashion within the next 12 months?
I think there's going to be a big change up, and it's going to be so important for brands to make the investments right now into manpower and labor, and making up for lost time, but also getting more creative with the deliveries and the accessibility to our stores and to the brides. And you know, I think one of the things about bridal is that it tends to be a very antiquated production system, and there's such a tendency to fall back into the old ways of doing things because that's how it worked. But right now, I think this time is really challenging businesses across the board to be really creative and competitive in delivering a beautiful product at a great price point in a faster time frame. So it's kind of a trifecta of things, and not everyone, I think, has, you know, the resources or even the capital to support that. So adding extra capital where it's needed, I think, is the most important thing to do right now. So you know, it'll be challenging. And I hope that, uh, you know, that brides ultimately don't feel discouraged, and that they're still just as excited if they had to move their date, or, you know, if they have to kind of be a little flexible with certain things.
Yeah, they're still going to get the, I suppose they've got to think they're still going to get the day, they're still going to get the date. It's just going to have to change the time period. But again, they can still keep the plans going, you know, it just maybe a little bit longer down the line. So you've got to keep the positive spin on it, I suppose, haven't you?
Absolutely. So important.
Yeah, definitely. So with regard to a bride choosing her dress, what kind of advice would you give to them? Because it can be such an overwhelming experience. There's so much out there at the moment.
Yes, it is overwhelming, and there are so many options. And the thing that I love the most about the industry right now is probably the thing that's most difficult for brides is that there's so many options.
Mm.
And there are so many places to get married, and like there's just so many decisions that need to be made. So I think one of the most important things is to not be married to an idea prior to walking into your appointment.
Yeah,
It's always great to have a favorite dress in mind, and to do a little bit of due diligence digitally before you go into the store. But really, the store experience is the most important part in selecting your dress, and
yeah,
knowing that some dresses don't even have the best hanger appeal, but once you put them on, they come to life.
yeah.
To always try one style that you never thought of prior to the appointment. I always love throwing in a wild card just to see if it dazzles, or feels like an unexpected moment of magic.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
such a good piece of advice.
yeah, and the last actually part too that I think is important is to not overwhelm yourself with too many people in your appointment. And it's
Yes,
so funny because I feel like right now, like when people start getting back to shopping, I think they're really going to limit the number of people that come to their
yes,
appointments because of everything that's going on. So I think that's going to be a nice thing to
yeah.
have less opinions in the room.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. It's nice to have some people there to have a chat to, of course it is. But yeah, I think sometimes it can be quite strong and overwhelming when there's lots of different personalities and opinions and influences on you, when it's such a personal
Absolutely.
thing itself. And
It
it's not
is.
every day you're wearing a big white dress.
No. Although I wish it was.
Yeah, so do we. So at the moment, you've got heaps going on with regards to new things. So the jewelry range, this is a big thing at the minute. We're loving the jewelry range. It's something we'd love to stock. I don't know if it's something that can come in the stores or what really, but yeah, it's amazing. What was your sort of vision behind that?
So Hayley Paige Hearts on Fire has been such an exciting project, and it's really the first licensing deal that we've done for the business. And what's great is the reason it kind of came to fruition is because of a friendship and a relationship I had with a girl who works as a tech designer there,
Right.
um, like over 10 years ago. And it was at my first bridal company, Priscilla of Boston, that I worked with her. And so it was kind of a full circle experience in launching a collection with Hearts on Fire, because they were looking for a bridal designer to come in and design something that was unique and different from their existing product lines. And I just felt like their brand is all about empowerment, and it's very female driven, which I
Mm.
do love and respect. But I think even more so, if you were to take the Hayley Paige bridal collection and put it into jewelry, that really is what the expression is.
Yeah.
And they were really accommodating, and have been really accommodating in letting me take free reign over the design as much as I could. So I really treated it like it was a bridal collection, and
Right.
actually inspired the free engagement rings and the free product lines from Hayley Paige gowns. So it was really unique to take dress design elements and transfer them into hardware and jewelry. It
Yeah.
was a unique creative process for me. And we have a new collection coming out as well. We had to put it on a delay,
Yeah.
but it will be coming out this year, including extension pieces like earrings and ear cuffs and
Oh,
all the good.
amazing. Well, could we see maybe a Hayley Paige perfume out there soon?
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. Oh my gosh, I would love that. I don't know the first thing about chemistry with regards to a perfume, but I definitely know what scents I like.
Yeah.
And that would be so much fun. So I'd say yes to that for sure.
We think it would be absolutely gorgeous.
So fun. And then we could do like a matching candle collection.
Yeah.
And like the scent of a Hayley Paige girl.
You can see the vision that, yeah, definitely.
I'd love that. That's a fabulous idea.
So at the moment, you've got TV shows going on as well. Are you still involved with Say Yes to the Dress?
Yes. I've been on Say Yes now for almost, I guess, 6 years, which is so amazing to be a part of something so special. And I think the best thing with Say Yes to the Dress is it's such a natural, organic show. It really is unscripted, and it just feels like I'm doing my job as a designer and coming to a trunk show. And Kleinfeld is just such a magnificent environment to shop for a wedding dress. And I love being a part of the show. And the newest one we did was Say Yes to the Dress America, where Randy Finoli, as the host, was the ordained minister and married 50, two couples, every state from the United States, including Puerto Rico and DC.
Oh my God.
And I was America's bridesmaid in that, which was so much fun. I think I've been bridesmaid almost triple digits now.
That sounds amazing.
It was amazing. So we hope that show comes back, because I'd love to be a part of that experience again. It was just such a unique, wonderful thing to bring people together in that way.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. You need to come over to the UK and do some. We're still hoping for a You've Been Paged over here.
Oh, I would love that. If we could put like a tour, a UK tour and Europe tour together, I'm so down.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I'm like longing for travel. I think that's the one thing when you're stuck at home. It's not so much that I'm not going into the office every day. It's more like getting out of New York City, and having more adventures. So,
well, that was one thing I was going to ask you actually. What are you missing the most about being on lockdown?
Yeah, I think it's the travel.
Yeah.
For my work, like I'm always going places. I'm so lucky in that, but I'm always going on a plane somewhere. And it was getting to the point where I was like, oh gosh, I just want to be home, and now it's like I got my wish, but now you always want what you're not getting, so that's so true.
So your new show, Hayley Ever After, that looks really great. We haven't seen much of it over here at the moment. Is it relatively new?
Yeah, so actually, Hayley Ever After was a special that they did as a spin-off show.
Right.
And it was kind of isolated in its own concept. And so they did it as a special as opposed to a series. And it just involved a unique design competition. And it was a really fun project. I felt like it was a unique idea. It was just a little bit it was a unique experience because it's not normally how I conduct my design room. We're actually spread super thin in our business. We have very little people helping for 12 product lines. And so on this show, we had like 4 interns alone that were like helping us design. And that's not really how our business is set up. So it was such a unique environment. And I would say it was very fun to feel like a mentor to young girls and to designers. And I loved working with Caitlin Bristow, who was part of the Bachelorette franchise. And it was a really fun project. And I have so much respect for people in the film and production world that put these shows together, because there is really just so much work that goes into it and so much grind. But it was a great experience, and I hope to do more projects like that, but maybe stuff that's a little bit more natural within my environments, because it gets to be really hard when it's unique to the actual work setup.
Yeah, I can imagine that, definitely.
Yeah, totally.
So just before we finish off, we had a couple of sort of fun questions for you that were really just to kind of get to know a little bit more about Hayley Paige, if that was all right with you.
Absolutely, I'd love it.
So sun or snow holidays?
Oh, sorry, say that again?
Sorry, sun or snow holidays?
Some are snow holidays.
Sun or snow holidays? Sunny holidays or ski type holidays? Which would you prefer?
Oh, got it. Yes. Sun.
So
I would say summer. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love skiing, so that's tough, but
yeah.
if I had
It's
to
a
choose,
hard, yeah, it's a hard one. So if anybody you could hang out with, dead or alive, who would you sort of choose to spend the day with?
ooh, I think I would pick someone like Winston Churchill.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
you know,
interesting.
drink some whiskey and ask him to tell me cool stories about history and just being a strong leader.
Yeah. And if you could choose any decade to go back to, so if you could get in your time machine and go backwards, which decade would you choose as your most favorite?
I probably would go back to, let me think, the 70s. I think the history of rock and roll during that time was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Fleetwood Mac and Pink Floyd and all these
Yeah.
bands getting started. I think that'd be
Yeah. That would be
incredible.
great. I think
Yeah.
I'd choose 1920s, a bit of sparkle and fun and
For fashion alone, that'd be a great, yeah.
yeah. So what was
Love
the
that.
first thing that you designed and do you still have it?
Yes, I do. So my cousin and I, when we were young, we used to always play dress up, and I would get into the habit of sewing some of the dresses and putting them together in different ways. And I think that that initial exposure to dress up and creativity really helped lay the foundation for wanting to do something in bridal and design.
Yeah.
But the first, I'd say the very first dress I created was, it was a wedding dress, but it was a hot pink mini wedding dress.
Wow.
So I feel like it was kind of on brand.
Definitely.
Everything. So it was fun.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Well, thanks so much, Hayley, for taking the time out today. I know obviously you've got other things going on. Even though you're on lockdown, you're super, super busy. So we really, really appreciate coming on and having a chat with us about all things Hayley Paige.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the support of the Blush by Hayley Paige collection. I'm so grateful to be with you and your team. And hopefully we'll be able to do a visit or a trunk show soon.
Definitely. We would absolutely love it. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Have a wonderful rest of your work week and stay safe and sparkly.
Thank you. You too. Speak to you soon. Bye. Thanks so much.
Take care. You're welcome. Bye.